Over the years that I've been a designer, this is hands down the most comprehensive animated hero section for a website that I have ever made. And I created it in less than 90 minutes with Claude Code. The initial idea for the hero section came from this design that I created in Figma for an interior designer. And I had this idea in mind that this woman would walk out of the scene while scrolling, and then the video should expand and cover the entire screen. And this would mean ending with a full screen view of only the interior design with a large heading like in this image. And this technique where a video only plays when you scroll is called video scrubbing. Okay, so with the concept out of the way, I started with creating the visuals first. And I generated the images using Nano Banana in Higgsfield. And I like to use Higgsfield because of the user-friendly interface and the fact that I can create the images and the videos all in the same environment. If you've seen my previous videos, you may know that I like to generate images with something that I call a style filter. And this is a partial prompt that I paste at the end of each image generation prompt, and this describes the overall mood of an image. And I actually created a website, AI Playfield, where you can choose from a range of different style prompts. It's completely free for you to use. So I used this warm tone style of this image here, and I copied the style prompt and then pasted it into Higgsfield. And the only thing that I added to the prompt was a reference image of the model, and I mentioned to place the model in a kitchen. I didn't describe anything else, as that all will be taken care of by the style prompt. And it created this image, which was exactly what I had in mind for the start frame of the video. I prompted to remove the model from the scene to create an image for the end frame of the video. This is the frame where the model has walked out of the scene, leaving only the interior. And then also in Higgsfield, I used their newest state-of-the-art video model, Seedance 2.0, to create the video. And I added the images for the start and end frame in the prompt to make the subject walk out of the frame. And here you can see the result of that video. Okay, so now that I have the visuals and the concept ready, I wanted to test the new Claude Design app. And if you aren't familiar with Claude Design, it is basically a tool where Claude will output a design based on your prompts, and you can add Figma files as well directly into your project. And the main benefit over Claude Code is the interface, which is more convenient for UI designs. Well, it should be more convenient, I should say, because I was really struggling with the app, to be honest. And what I was hoping for was uploading my Figma file directly to Claude Design and then create a working prototype based on the Figma file, which I could tweak by simply dragging the sliders and give it some quick prompts, and then finally export it to Claude Code to create the actual website. But unfortunately, that wasn't the case for me. It didn't read my Figma file correctly at all, and instead it created this, and it was able to read the text and recognize the fonts, but other than that it didn't come close at all. And after uploading an image of the design, it came a bit closer, but still not what I hoped for, and tweaking the design with the sliders was way too limited as well, so I ended up with prompting the adjustments. The one thing that I could see it being useful for is for exploring ideas and for creating wireframes, but since I already had something specific in mind, it wasn't what I was hoping for, and eventually I decided to give up Claude Design and move on to Claude Code. And there is one convenient feature though, it is called Handoff, and it lets you pick up exactly where you left off inside Claude Code. Okay, so after handing off the files to Claude Code, I started by perfecting the hero section. And I like to build my websites section by section, as this gives me the most control over the output. So I fixed the output by Claude Design for the first section, and interesting enough, Claude Code understood my prompt so much better than Claude Design. And then I created the second section, which was a much simpler design, and I prompted for that same image but full screen with the logo on top. And only when I finished the first and the second section, I started working on the most complex part, which is the transition. To create the transition, I prompt for the image on the right side to become a full screen image when the user scrolls. And I also mentioned what should happen with the text. For example, I want the quote on the bottom left to be covered, and the large heading should change its position from the top left to the center. And even though it was a rather complex task, Claude understood exactly what I wanted and created it on the first try. And now that the transition worked, I prompted to replace the image with the video, and I mentioned to add a scrubbing effect. So after I finished the hero section, I wanted to see what the transition would look like if I reversed the entire animation, so that the website would start with the full screen and then transition into the smaller image on the side revealing the quote. And to do this, I created a new branch for the project, and if you aren't familiar with branches, this is a Git feature that allows you to experiment with changes without affecting your main project. And because this was a task where I expected it to break things, I told Claude to ask me questions in case it had any uncertainties about how to reverse the transition. And this was a good thing, as it asked me if I also wanted to play the video backwards, which I didn't want, as she would then have walked backwards. And speaking of the video, I created a second video for the reverse transition to make her walk into the scene instead of out of the scene. And I used the same exact images, just swapped the start and the end frames. And in the end I preferred the reverse transition, so I had Claude apply the changes to the main version of the project. And then as finishing touch, I added a loading animation for the website that would smoothly transition from a blank full screen into the website while the logo stays in place and changes from dark brown to white. And a transition like this can really make a site feel polished and takes minimum effort with Claude Code. And here's the end result, a very elegant hero design with smooth animations and scroll effects. I hope you enjoyed today's video, and if you'd like to see more designs that I create with AI, then please subscribe to my YouTube channel. And I added all the prompts to create the hero section and the actual website files as a free download to the video description. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see you in the next one.